Hey traders, TG Watkins here with simplertrading.com, and I just want to bring you over to my website profitpilot.com because I just finished teaching a 4 or 5 hour class over the weekend about shorting the market, and that seems awfully appropriate right now given what's happening with the market. And I do think we're going to be seeing some more downside as soon as the S&P falls off its weekly 50. I'll show you that in the charts as well. So if you guys are interested in kind of capitalizing on what we see going on out in the market out there, clearly the market has been in a kind of a secret bear market because you look at many names down 50, 60, 70%. It's pretty crazy out there. And now the markets, the indexes are about to roll over too. That's at least the way that I'm viewing it. So and within the class, I also teach how we can start looking for strong stocks to break out when the market finishes its correction, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you guys are kind of seeing what's going on out there and want to be able to take advantage of it, come over here to profitpilot.com, select services, and then hear about the class. You can just click on that. Now, as far as the indexes go, as I said, I'm kind of looking at the S&P breaking off of the weekly 50 because that, you can see it has just been sitting right there for a few weeks. We did get a puncture through it, then came back up, but and it's just not looking strong out there. I know we got, the Russia-Ukraine news, which, that's just going to be some news that kind of goes around. Of course, if something really does happen, the market's not going to like that. But I think that there are other things that are occurring underneath this. I mean, this whole bear market thing and names falling apart beneath the surface has been happening long before this Russia-Ukraine thing. So that's just news that is going to be an excuse to drive the market where it's going and all that kind of stuff. So, be aware of it, but don't worry about it too much. What we're seeing here, the S&P has run into the underside of the daily 50. I mean, the Moxie indicator is so far below zero. I mean, really, really far below zero. It's pretty rough. And then we've seen price run into these moving averages on the hourly. And most recently, we see price ran into the underside of the hourly 50. And now the Moxie indicator on the hourly chart is crossing back below zero. So everything is negative. Everything is negative. We just had the FOMC come out on yesterday, talking about, they gave their minutes and, it was kind of dovish. They said they're still going to raise rates, but maybe quantitative tightening isn't going to happen for a while, and who knows? So there was a little bit of a move up, but that move was a fake move and got sold into today. So that's kind of been my standpoint. I was like, nope, I don't care that it's going up. I'm not believing it. And that was the right call. So let's kind of see what happens tomorrow. So Friday is going to be options expiry. It's either going to be crazy or totally nothing. So price is either going to be held still because they want all the options to expire and max pain, or that we could actually really see some craziness happening because that's what happened last time that we had options expiry. So just kind of get ready for whatever we need to. And then remember, we have Monday is President's Day. So Monday the market is closed, and so we'll see you guys back on Tuesday in the market. Now, if we look at look at the NASDAQ, more or less the same thing. It's going to look like the SPY. It's weaker, but basically it's doing the same kind of formations as the SPY. Then if we look at the Dow, I wanted to bring this one in a little bit because there were some things to note. Number one, you see that price came up here and got rejected by the underside of the daily 50. And then you can see here that price has also been getting rejected by the underside of the hourly 50, and the Moxie indicator is back below zero. And it too looks like it is starting to fall below the weekly 50. So we're seeing some major weaknesses out there, and I wanted you guys to be aware of that. And if we look at the IWM, which we know is also the weakest of the bunch because it is growth, and growth is like a 4-letter word right now. It bounced off of its lower third ATR, but really this is just a bounce. It's just a bounce in a downtrend. It's a bear flag. I mean, doesn't this look like you have price that came down and all it's doing is just kind of reverting to the mean because it got a little too oversold? And, as soon as this thing starts to roll over, it's going to find some resistance up there and it's going to make its way lower. Now, I'm kind of wondering, I think that the weekly 200 could be the next initial target. So right now it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, really, what is it doing here? Nothing. There's no traction here on the left side with price. There's no consolidation. Like price went straight up. It's probably going to go straight down. And the only thing it did is it bounced off an oversold level. So I look at this, it's just going to go like this and go down further. And then same thing with the hourly chart. We have price just running right into the underside of the hourly 200. So yeah, I hope you guys are ready for the market to rock and roll and start heading lower. With that, we look at the, let's go over to the UVXY. And we look at this, see that. So down here, the UVXY, which is the leveraged ETF of the volatility, looks like it is poised and getting ready. Usually it's a perpetually declining product, but you can see it is actually starting to trend up. So start paying attention to that. And then even on the hourly chart, kind of getting through here, you can see that we had our move up over the hourly 50 and then he moved down into the hourly 50. That should be some support, and then we'll see if that wants to keep moving up like that. If it does, that means the market's going down, and I'm looking at the UVXY building strength as, well, that's a concern. If you're bullish, it's a big concern. And right now I'm looking at that saying, yeah, it's doing everything I needed to do in order to go higher. So do be aware that the UVXY volatility is going higher. Now, if we come over to Apple, let's see, I'll get you down over on this side because I wanted to show you here. We've been I kind of talked about this yesterday. And it too, look at this. I mean, this thing is just rolling over and it's doing everything we want. In fact, I was finishing up some of my live trading with the class that I had from Saturday. And Apple was one of the ones we kind of talked about. And we went through the scanner, the Moxie scanner, and pointed out that, well, it got a Moxie price trigger today on the hourly chart. It even got a Moxie price trigger a few days ago on the daily chart. So we're getting two, either exit your longs or go short. That's what we're getting here on these. So yeah, you guys got to really be aware of what's happening out there. And you can see also the price got rejected by the underside of the hourly 50, and the 15-minute got rejected by the underside of the 15-minute 200, and it could not hold the 15-minute 50. And you can see the Moxie indicators just rolling on over again. And then even over here, we could see that price basically getting rejected by the underside of the daily 50, and the Moxie indicator just keeps going down. So real important stuff that you guys need to be paying attention to out there in order to protect yourself. Now, I'm not saying that Apple necessarily is going to completely roll over and die, but it is going to go down. We're going to have to see how far it's going to go down and where it might or might not bounce. So for now, the trend is down. NVIDIA had its earnings. Not much to say about it. It got down. I think it was up in the overnight and then down this morning. And they probably had good earnings. I don't really pay attention to earnings. I just kind of look at what the stock does. But I think this is at the mercy of the market. You can see on the daily chart, really, if we zoom into this, this looks like Apple, or sorry, this looks like the IWM, right? Go down, get oversold, just start moving up like this into resistance and roll over again. Moxie indicator very much below zero. Double top, negative divergence. It can't hold any moving averages. Like, it's not holding any moving averages, just chopping right through it. And generally speaking, it's running into a downtrending hourly 200. So yeah, it can't hold anything here. It's just chopping until it runs into resistance, and I think it's going to move lower. So that's NVIDIA. AMD is basically doing the same thing. Then we come over to XLE. And this one, remember, guys, that I was showing you this on my newsletter. So if you guys want to go check out the newsletter, let me actually get over to the other here. XLE, we can see a bigger picture of it. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to show. Because the problem with XLE is that it's getting tired. It's pretty extended. And if XLE, XLP, if oil was the bullish area of the market that was kind of keeping the market up or keeping the S&P up, what happens when oil gets extended and wants to pull back? So that's kind of what I'm looking at and saying that one of the strongest components in the S&P is it's not bearish by any means, but it needs to pull back. It's extended. So if you get a weak market over here and a strong market over here, and then the strong market needs to pull back, well, what's going to happen to the weak market? It's going to go even further down. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here as far as a timing mechanism, and why I think that we are going to be seeing this probably sooner than later. Also, options expiry is tomorrow, so we got that out of the way. The Olympics are done this weekend, so kind of from a let's be nice kind of situation, that's done. So that's why I think we're going to be getting what we're getting coming in the near future, and I think it's going to be important to watch. One way we could see this, as I said, we talked about it in the newsletter. You could see that the Moxie indicator basically went flat compared to price going up like that. That was your negative divergence. You could also see price in general went higher, but the Moxie indicator was much lower. And then you could start noticing that out of this kind of flat consolidation right here in the Moxie indicator, once it started to really break like that, that's energy and momentum just really coming out of it. And at this point, now price is below the hourly 50, and I think it's just going to work itself off. Again, I'm not saying it's going to crash and burn, but it definitely needs a pullback. It's just extended. There's a huge gap between price and the daily 50. It's up here at the third ATR on the weekly chart. It just needs the pullback. So do what you will with that information, and be careful. Then we look at floor in Decor, FND. It's kind of another area that I'm looking at stuff, trying to show you some patterns. And you can see this is what I think that the IWM is going to look like, because what did the IWM do? And even NVIDIA, it's priced down and then it got oversold, and all it did is it's just going to move up like this until it runs into resistance and starts to roll over like that. It's doing the same thing on the hourly. It's flagging right into the underside of a downtrending hourly 200. And yeah, there you go. That's exactly what the IWM is going to look like. Bet you anything. So floor and Decor. Interest rates are going up. Maybe people already bought all the stuff they need for their homes because of COVID and all that. And maybe, I don't know, home projects are done, whatever it is. Either way, this thing's going down, and Home Depot is going down. I'll show you that next. But they're all just running into these moving averages. It's just a trend. It's just a trend. These things are moving down, and they might over the course of time, these things might start heading back to where they came from. These were the last ones to stay up, and now they are getting hit, and so there's not much left to hold up and be strong. We look at Home Depot. You can basically see the same thing. It had kind of a blow off top, as it turns out. Let's kind of get this looked at. So you can see, up, nice, blow off top, and then it's done. And that's what it sure looks like. So I have a feeling that price eventually is going to fall back below the weekly 50. And I think price is eventually going to fall off of the daily 200. I mean, look at that Moxie indicator. This is just straight down. And then same thing, we got a little bit of a bounce right up into resistance here, and we're starting to almost make new lows. You can see price continues to get rejected by the underside of the hourly 50. And maybe there are bounces, but bounces should be shorted. That is what's happening right now, and that's the name of the game. Some other ones to be looking at. We got eBay. eBay is getting hit. I mean, these things are taken out back to the woodshed and just getting clobbered. And I think eBay just had earnings, or it's going to have earnings. It was at the 30 ATR. It can still keep going. Just because it gets there doesn't mean it's the end of the day for the shorts. It is something to consider. But man, this thing's still going down. Like, look, on the daily chart, you still have the 8 below the 21. So never once has this thing become positive, right? It just bounces and then down, bounces and then down. Look at PayPal, look at Square. I mean, look at Shopify. These things are getting trounced. And you can also see here on the hourly chart, you can see that the hourly 200 is still in a downtrend, and basically price just bounces up into that resistance and then rolls over again. Sure, yeah, I think it's making new lows. So yeah, watch out below. Timber. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on there. Let me look up PACB, Pacific Bio. I think that one's just getting creamed. Yeah, you can see that. Just rolling on over. Finally, it got rejected here by the underside of the weekly 50. You can see the Moxie price triggers telling you to get out. And basically, if you guys are familiar with my inverse trampoline setup, that is when price is over the 50, but the Moxie indicator is below 0. That is a do not go long signal. And then given the right situation, it's a go short signal, because price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. And that is the amazing ability of the Moxie indicator to tell you, you better look at this thing, and it's saying negative the entire way. So just don't be long. Short the rips, short the rips, short the rips. So that's PACB. and you could just see this getting clobbered, and just huge bear flags. Just can't find any traction anywhere, and just rolling on over. And then PANW is another one. I know a lot of people have been kind of in this one thinking it's going to be something strong. I've been talking about this one for a while. In fact, it was right over here, right here, that I was talking to even my subscribers. And I said right in through here, I said, you better watch out. You better not cry. But right there, you can see that price was coming down into the daily 50. And I thought, you know, I'm seeing a lot of negative divergence. You know, despite price going up, I was like, this thing looks really, really overbought, and I have a feeling it's going to continue down over at some point also. And so it's been doing that. You can see here's the Moxie price trigger on the way down. It came down, it's bounced, but what did it do? It bounced right up into overhead resistance, and look how far the Moxie indicator is below zero. I bet you anything, this thing's going to start coming back down to the weekly 50, maybe further. It's just a question of how far these things go, but they're well on their way. Things are just moving on down. All right. If I haven't made that point clear, I hope you guys get it. Please be careful out there. Take advantage of it where you can. I will just say one more time: if you are trying to figure out how to short stuff, if you haven't, you know, if there just isn't material out there on how to short the market, how to trade short trends, I implore you to come over here to profitpilot.com. And click on this, you know, services, and then the class that I just taught. The Moxie indicator is great for this stuff. The class, we spend 4.5 hours going through this, and then we even do some live sessions. So it's just really great, and we've gotten some really good feedback. And I want to make sure that there is material for you out there if you're looking for it about what to do with this market. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave you guys off. It is crazy out there. I bet you the market's going to start really rolling over probably next week, if I were to guess. And yeah, let's see what we can do with it. So I hope you guys are taking care and making money out there. And I'll talk to you next week. Later.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.